according to never mind. Welcome in everybody to another episode of 410 Sports Talk.
Yeah.
I'm James Haskell along with my co-host Glenn Martin and of course DK in the background running the Pirate Cat ship. We are excited to talk about the Baltimore Ravens and all things training camp, the progression of the team, and everything in between. But Glenn, I just rhymed accidentally. Glenn, tell us who the sponsor of this awesome episode is tonight.
Yes, this sponsor, like all our shows, this show, like all our shows, is brought to us by BetOnline. BetOnline is the most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything online sports betting. Right now, you can receive a 50% free bet up to $250 on your first deposit to bet on anything from the Olympics to baseball to Formula One racing. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads after the games have started being played. When the game's over, head on over to the online casino and get in on a game of blackjack, a hand of poker, or unwind in one of the over 150 casino games. Head on to the website today and get in on the action using promo code BLEAV, BLEAV. Get 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online, the game starts here.
Let's go. I'm so excited to talk all things Ravens tonight, Glenn. And I think you kind of laid out the order in which we're going to do it. There's 2 days of camp to cover. I think we're going to start with yesterday and get into today. And I think that requires us to start with the one, the only Lamar Jackson. Of course, it was in front of the microphone, and not only in front of the microphone, it was under center, in the shotgun, in the pistol, all the above. Lamar Jackson is back. I'm excited about it. He's kind of settled the ship, Glenn.
Yes.
What have been your initial thoughts?
Well, first of all, happy that he's healthy and that he's good because, we take all these guys' health kind of for granted and that they're some of the best athletes in the world. So we just assume that all these guys are always going to be healthy and that if they do come down with something, that they'll quickly kind of shake it off and be back out there. It was just getting worrisome when we saw, for one, he missed a few days, but then he came back and then missed the next couple days after trying to come back and leaving practice early. And so I was just, worried about my guy. And so I'm just happy that he's, first and foremost, healthy. And, it was just a stomach bug that sounds like that was just kicking his butt for a couple days longer than expected. But mainly what I was happy about for the team is that, man, the work can really, truly get started now. Like, not only was the offensive growth kind of stunted, not having the leader and the head of the snake out there in Lamar Jackson, but also the defense was not being helped and given any favors. Yeah, I bet their confidence was soaring when they have, all these interceptions that we kept reading over the days, but that's not pushing them. Iron sharpens iron, right? It's not having your best go up against your best is how you're going to get better. So I think the DBs have an opportunity to get better now that Lamar's back. The linebackers, I mean, really, you name it. The whole team is going to be elevated by Lamar's return. And I think what was kind of cool, Jimbo, is, and we'll get into some of the comments from Lamar in his post-game or his post-practice presser. But I want to quickly point to one thing here, Jimbo, and that is because we've talked about Marlon Humphrey and how important it is for him to have a bounce back year. And he's done some big things. He's lost weight. He said, his mindset this year, last year's injury was kind of a first for him, that it was an all season. And Jimbo, he's picked him off 3 times in the last couple days. Marlon has Lamar Jackson. He has now 4 interceptions already in camp thus far. So I know we're here to talk about Lamar, but I quickly wanted to just talk about Marlon Humphrey and his incredible run so far in training camp. Is this getting you more confidence here? Oh, okay. Don't hurt yourself now, Jimbo. Don't sprain yourself. What are you thinking about? Does that give you more confidence thinking, hey, Marlon's back?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, people have been I don't get it. I understand contractually why people would talk about how Marlon and the Ravens could be at an impasse like at the end of the season contractually, right? Because of kind of how the business NFL works. But people thought that last year was the downfall of I think a lot of people thought that last year was the downfall of Marlon Humphrey and that it doesn't get good again. Like this was kind of the start to the end.
Right.
The dude is what, 28?
Yeah, he's young, man.
I don't care. He's been in the league for 8 years. He's biologically 28 years old, takes good care of his body, cares about his craft. Like These guys at corner play a long time. The league is not getting more physical. Marlon Humphrey's going to be back in a big way and could potentially improve. You talked about it, Glenn. Marlon Humphrey's never been known for his hands. Let's be honest.
Right.
This could be something that he's working on as a player, and we should expect him to continue to improve. So shout out to Marlon Humphrey for getting in the lab and getting it done. But am I surprised? I'm not surprised as long as he's healthy. He had an unhealthy year, not a decline year. They're two different things to me.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned the fact that he's not known for having great hands, because when they asked Lamar Jackson about how often he's been picking him off, he said, he's just trying to make him, he's just trying to help him out. He's trying to help Marlon work.
Is that what he's doing?
You know what I mean? That's all it is. He's just showing a little love to the other side of the
so it's charity, Lamar. That's what it is. He's being charitable.
He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. I think
he's a giver.
We all agree there. But no, I just wanted to quickly mention that because, man, that's exciting stuff. But also getting back to Lamar Jackson, one of the things he was, speaking of Lamar Jackson, appreciate it, Cakes. Yes, Lamar has the immune system of a toddler. Well, certainly he's one of the more often ill people on the team, right? And of course, his absence is highlighted more than if, Trayvon Mullen were to miss, or one of these guys, one of the more ancillary pieces of the team. Sure. When your star misses, everyone notices. But do you think that maybe his immune system isn't top notch here, Jimbo?
Yeah, I just don't get it. Like, I don't have the credentials to understand it. But, look, if I'm not mistaken, Lamar's got 2 young kids himself.
2, okay. I think
he's got 2 young kids himself. I'm pretty sure he's got 2 now. The point is that they are petri dishes, 1 or 2. So who knows? Maybe that could play a part, right? Like, certainly. Everybody says, start sending your kids to daycare. Be prepared to be sick for the next year.
Daycare and school. Yep.
So look, I mean, it kind of is what it is. Comes to territory being a parent. Maybe that could have something to do with it. Outside of that, I have no idea. But I'm just glad he's back. I can't disagree with you, Cakes. But hopefully all this will just make him stronger.
Yes, please. That would be ideal, because if you're going to miss, it's best to get it over with early.
So DK says he was never sick at Louisville.
That's what he said. Yeah, Lamar said. Right. I was never sick at Louisville.
But he was also not a dad, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a good point. And
I'm telling you, man, them kids are just they're just walking.
Because you're affectionate with your children. So if they have anything, they're going to give it right to you. And then also, even as they get older, I don't know if your children are quite old enough yet, but as they get older, you'll start to see this, Jimbo. They will just gladly pick your drink up and drink it without even asking. They just, here's a cold drink. I'm tired. Boom. Yeah. And so now you got whatever they got because you're sharing a drink. And the same can probably be said for your food. Certainly if it's something they can just grab and quickly have some fries or something. Oh, they're grabbing them. Yep. So, yeah, you're right.
So I'll paint you a perfect picture. The other day, we're driving in the car. Henry's in his car seat. We still have him rear facing at this point. And I'm giving him, he has like a little yogurt, and I'm like giving him a little bit of yogurt, whatever. Mm-hmm. He eats it. He just closes his mouth with his bite, and I can see that his body is starting to sneeze at the same time. And it's yogurt. No. And I'm like right in front of him. And it's just
it's like Men in Black when he has to help with the delivery of the baby.
Exactly. Yeah. No, so dude, look, that's just how it goes. That could have something to do with it, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into some of the highlights, some of the news and notes over the last couple of days, and we will get back into more of what Lamar was asked about greatness and all that stuff, and I do want to touch on some of those comments, but I first want to get to some of the highlights that we saw over the last couple of days. And the first day, yesterday, we saw a ton of Isaiah Likely. This guy, all practice long, getting targeted often, making plays a ton, touchdowns, just seemingly everywhere. This guy is an absolute matchup nightmare. Anytime someone's asked about on the defensive side of the ball to point a guy out on offense, it's almost all of them are pointing at Isaiah Likely. Is it now, not to be outdone, today, Mark Andrews said, hey, don't forget about me, had the play of the day on an absolute monster catch. I think we're going to show that at some point if we can find it. But are you starting to really get excited about what these two can do on the field together? Because while we did see them briefly on the field together, we didn't see them on the field when we knew Isaiah was that guy and a healthy version, not banged up, not just fighting his ass off to get back from Mark Andrews. No, a fully healthy, both these guys with the swagger that Isaiah, I think, has now that he didn't have early in the season last year.
Yeah, no. So that's the exciting thing is that to answer your question, I'm extremely, extremely excited about it. I mean, if you look at our tight end room from top to bottom, talk about mismatches everywhere, right? Like Mark is bona fide all pro. I mean, anybody that's big enough to stay with him is too slow, and anybody who's small enough is anybody's fast enough is too small, right? Like Mark Andrews is a problem. Isaiah Likely, same camp, and he's starting to establish himself. So those two alone, but even Pat Ricard and Charlie Kolar, they've got their distinct skill sets. And I think our room is an absolute problem. Our tight ends are going to be exciting to watch. Certainly, like you said, these two together, man, talk about a 1A, 1B, and then you add Zay into that mix and Bateman, as long as he can stay healthy. I know we'll get into that, but people, don't forget. I don't think there's a lot of people out here who still think that the Ravens aren't doing everything they can to help Lamar. I don't think they exist. But there might be a few. If you think that, just take a look at our tight end room.
Yes.
Don't forget. Lamar already said he's receiver one, right, in his interview not too long ago. So, yeah, man, I'm so excited to see what these guys can do together. And I'm sure Monken is scratching at the, clawing at the opportunity to get out there and show how he can highlight the best of these two and cause absolute headaches for defenses, excuse me.
Yeah, what's going on, Tanja? Appreciate you coming out. Is it Moscow controller? Moscow. He said, yeah, he says Mark's more savvy than fast, is what he's saying. What's up, Gideon? Appreciate you coming out.
Mark's plenty fast though.
Certainly for his size. I think people forget just how massive he is, even compared to his fellow tight ends in the room.
Jimmy, you put him next.
Are you going to blow your nose?
Do I need to?
Yeah, I think you need to, dude.
Do I?
Yeah, I think
you can't just suck it into my brain.
Nah, I think you got to get it out of there, bro. You got to shoot it out.
Should I just snot rocket on screen?
Don't aim for the camera. We don't have the 3D effects put in yet. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is the highlight, I think, from today. This is the Mark Andrews touchdown, the play of the day, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see what we got here, DK. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There he is. Not to be outdone. Mark Andrews says, hey, don't forget about me. I'm pretty darn good, too. I think this year we're going to see an absolute ton of both those guys on the field together. I can't wait to see it.
And according to Qadri Ismail, that wasn't even his top. That was his that was the third best catch of Mark Andrews of the day. Crazy to think about.
Look, iron sharpens iron. And certainly competition makes everyone better. And you can't tell me that Isaiah Likely isn't making Mark Andrews better just from being in the room with them and continuing to push them. It's just like anything we talk about, monopolies in any business. Anytime there's no competition for something, that's bad for us. Competition only makes everyone better, whether it's a product or an athlete. There's just no doubt about it. And you know what? The truth, JGW, I'm glad you mentioned this because Dayton Wade has been making so many plays in camp. We've been talking about it on Twitter. If you guys follow us, if you don't, you should be. I messaged with him. I said, man, Dayton, when we having you back on the show? He said, I got to make sure I make the team first. So his focus is purely on the field and what's going on. But yes, I am on it. We are trying to get him back on the field. Back on the show. We absolutely cannot wait. This guy's been making play after play, but I think he's laser focused right now. But I told him I'm going to keep reaching out. I'm going to keep asking. And I appreciate him certainly replying. But yeah, focus is on the field right now. But he has been killing. Had 2 touchdowns yesterday. The guy's been everywhere. It's been so cool to watch this guy because he's so easy to root for. But as you can see here, Jeff Zrebick said, touchdowns on back-to-back plays, Jimbo. Watch out for this guy. He's going to make it. And also in related news, Qadri's son, Qadir Ismail, officially moved to tight end on the Ravens roster. So the move is over. He's no longer a wide receiver. He is now another one of our very, very talented tight ends. My idea has got to be that it's got to be a practice squad avenue for him, which is, hey, get in the building, get in the room, and then you see what you can do with the opportunity. But yeah, Kadir Ismail is now a tight end.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about this. He's got the frame for it for sure, and it's exciting for him to have the opportunity and just go out there and see if he can be the next Darren Waller.
That's right. I think that's what they're hoping for.
Absolutely.
I think I saw Kadri put it out there. I think he mentioned Miles Boykin in his tweet, saying that this could be what everyone was hoping Miles Boykin could do. Transition.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was kind of
Kadri is
a little shot.
Yeah.
Little
Where is
shot
Miles Boykin these days? Is he on a team?
He's probably still on. I think he's with Seattle, if I remember correctly. I think he's with the Seahawks. I think he joined them after Mike McDonald, and that's the only reason I saw it. But I'm pretty sure he's with them. But also have to get into some of the bad news from yesterday's practice.
Yeah, got to.
And this is exactly what we did not want to see, Jimbo. Wide receiver Rashod Bateman exits practice about an hour into it and did not return. Did jog off the field, however, so he wasn't carted off. He wasn't helped off. He went off on his own power and, in fact, jogged. But did not practice today after leaving early yesterday. Coach was asked about it after practice, and he said it was just more precautionary, that they're trying to be more safe than sorry with it. And said it's nothing serious, but got tangled up, Jimbo. This is the one thing we said was, please don't get tangled up, man. He did. He got tangled up. What's your thoughts on Rashod?
I do think there's an abundance of caution going on here for Rashod, but I mean, this has always been the topic. It always has been with Rashod, and it always will be until it's not. Yep. I don't really know what else to say. He's just got to string together time where he's healthy. It's just a bummer, man. Feel bad for the kid at some point, right?
Yeah.
He
practiced 3 to 4 times a day, or trained 3 to 4 times a day, and then he comes out here and it's frustrating.
Yeah, no, and DK corrected us. Miles Boykin is with this would make sense. He's with the New York Giants, because the New York Giants are just a wasteland at this point. They've become what the Jacksonville Jaguars used to be. Remember how people would go to Jacksonville to retire, get their last contract and
big deal, and then
or any deal, right? If they're hanging on in the league, you go to Jacksonville, right? Because they're going to the minors.
They'll give you a couple
yeah,
dollars.
Exactly. And that's what it's like with the Giants these days. I mean, they're just an absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah, and look,
this year, it's more likely Odafe Oweh gets double-digit sacks.
Well, the clips coming out of their camp, I can't wait for. Actually, you know what? That's right. They're going to the Bears. I forgot. They went from the Giants in the offseason to the Bears in training camp to an AFC North.
Yeah,
regular season.
Isn't Daniel Jones apparently crazy ripped now or something like that? That's what everyone's talking about.
I mean, he might be. I didn't see that, but what I did see is some pretty rough practice highlights from him again. I mean, it's just consistent, just throwing the ball into God knows what. It's so funny because then there was a it's funny on Twitter. It was a tweet about him poorly playing, and then the very next tweet from someone completely different was about how Saquon Barkley scored his 3rd touchdown of the day for the Eagles in training camp. I was like, that's just it's just awesome. It's pretty funny. But so we'll be rooting for Rashod Bateman certainly to get back out there and get his health back. And man, please be healthy and get back out there.
Yeah,
and
for sure. It just sucks at this point, right?
Yeah, it's man, you just feel bad for the guy, because I really do. And I love everything he said in the offseason, the maturity he's shown it's been crazy. So, I'll be rooting for him like crazy. Also, yesterday, Jimbo, David Ajabo's best practice, multiple pressures, a great run stop on Josh Johnson. Hold on. He had a run stop on Josh Johnson. First of all, there's not many people in the league I could beat in a foot race. I'm ready to challenge Josh Johnson right now, dude. Now.
You think you can beat him?
Jimmy, stop!
Wait, he's still younger than you, though, isn't he?
Oh, yeah? I think so.
And he's a professional athlete.
But
I tell you what, though, Glenn, I would give you a chance.
I'll take them. I'll try.
What's the distance?
Oh, it can't be long. 40 yards.
What about I feel like you got a better chance at 100 than 40.
Nah, dude. My cardio is
100 yards. It's a 100-yard sprint.
I know, but by about 60, all right, I'll do 60. That's as far as I'm willing to go, Jimbo, because I can't risk my Achilles. All right.
Glenn's already negotiating down from 100 yards.
It's a big drop, too. I didn't even go 80.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Sean says, wasn't one of y'all supposed to race Sarah? Jimbo? Jimbo?
Hey, Glenn.
Josh Johnson's older than me. Yes.
Oh, is he? Okay, yes. Nice. There you go. So, okay, that's fair.
All right, tell you what. You race Sarah, I'll race Josh Johnson.
Well, why would I race Sarah?
Why wouldn't you, Jimbo? Explain to me why you wouldn't.
Because it wouldn't be a race.
Oh, man, this guy. I
mean, what are we talking about? I'm not trying to be mean. It's just honest.
Okay. All right.
I mean, do you think it would be a race?
No, but I wanted you to say it because it's funnier.
I'll say it. That's fine. I'm not being mean. I like.
Oh
Sarah.
Yeah, it's Sarah Ellison. Yeah, it's Sarah Ellison. Yeah.
But let's just be.
Is there another Sarah? Isn't that the only one? I don't know of another one. I think that's the only one. But yeah, it would not be. Oh, and you can put Bobby. You can put a relay race, 2 against 1. Good luck. Good luck. Somebody said not Sarah, Bobby.
It's like the David Goggins race where he signed up for a 24-hour race that was supposed to be a relay and he did it by himself.
I believe it, dude.
He just did it by himself, dude.
Because he's a maniac. Yeah. Absolutely crazy.
No, we would take them though. I mean, we talked about this. I have no fear.
No fear. Although Tank says Sarah looks like she might have some afterburners. So yeah, people are sleeping on Jimbo. Jimbo can. Let me tell you something. Jimmy can run. You need someone to run. Jimmy can run far, fast, short, all of it. He can do it. If it's running,
look, if you're a small dude, you better learn how to run.
My man can run, bro. You ain't catching him. I can tell you this. That world. You know what? I think you missed your calling. I'm seeing on ESPN
like the tag thing.
The tag thing, bro. Oh, you would have been a problem at tag.
Yes, I agree. 1000%.
I mean, I wouldn't have caught you. Tank says he'll bet money on Sarah. Hold on, Tank. How much money? Because
break out the old checkbook, my boy.
There's no amount that will scare Jimmy away. I can promise you that.
Zero. The only person I would be nervous about that I know, there's plenty of women that would beat me in a race, but that I know, I'd be nervous about racing my sister. Straight up. If it's a short, it depends how much time we got.
350.
I ain't worried about it outside of that.
Yeah.
The list is short.
Yeah, it's a very, very short race. It's a very short list. All the Ravens YouTubers in a foot race. We're winning. I tell you what, how about we get to take all their subscribers? Whoever wins gets to snatch all the subscribers. Jimmy, this is what we've been waiting for, brother.
That's right, dude. How awesome. If it only worked that way, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you can stack them all up. Jimbo's knocking them all down.
We could do a relay race, one against all of them.
Yeah. Jimmy runs an ultra marathon by himself against the collection of all the other YouTubers.
I feel very confident in that.
And then I stand at the end celebrating.
Yeah, or you're just at the aid stations.
Yeah, there we go.
Giving me the stuff. And
giving you good stuff. Along. And I'm giving them all the
talking trash. He's been gone for an hour already.
I act like I'm waking up from a nap. Oh, is this still happening? Jimmy's been gone for a while.
Dude, I've told you I've been watching The Sandlot lately. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you this. Glenn and Ham have nothing in common as far as body composition, but their trash talk, very similar. Like, as a kid, it's very, very similar.
I was a catcher my entire baseball career. Yes. I talked to every batter.
Dude, if you guys remember when Ham says, what does he say? He says, if I were as ugly as you, I would, what does he say? I would shave my dog's butt and train it to walk backwards.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That is totally something Glenn would say. And when he's like, your sister's in left field and she's naked.
Yeah. I used to get the umpires would get frustrated because I talked to everybody. Now it was never anything crazy, but I would say, who'd you come here with today? Did your mom bring you to the game? Stupid. It's just, Just asking him questions. And
Sure. Just
and
a
yeah,
question.
that's all. I didn't say anything over the line, but I would ask them questions.
Oh,
Did
that's
your sister
great.
come to the game with you? You know, just little stuff. Little stuff. But yeah, those are the good old days, man. The good old days. And yes, I got my inspiration from that movie. No doubt about it. But
Love it. I don't know
also,
how we got down this rabbit hole. I literally have zero idea.
yeah, I'm not sure. But I don't think I got your take on Harbaugh saying impressed with Ajabo, had his best day yesterday.
Yeah. Look, I think I'm in the same place as I am with Ajabo and Bateman in that, like, I need to believe the health to see, you know what I mean? Now, Ajabo, I just want to know that he's doing stuff off the field to help prepare. But if it sounds like if he's making technical improvements, then it sounds like he's doing stuff off the field. So he's got to stay healthy, man. He's just got to stay healthy. But if he can, and that actually points to a question I have for you. If he can, it really fills a need for us outside of just Adafe. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Sorry. But I have a question for you. Did you see the clip with Mayo, Coach Mayo, and Matt Judon today?
Yes.
Was that today?
Yesterday, no, 2 days ago. Yesterday or 2 days ago.
Whenever it was. All my days are blurring together.
I loved it. I loved every second of that clip, Jimbo. I'm so glad I didn't have that written down. But yes, if you guys haven't seen it, by the way.
What do you love about it?
Well, I love the fact that there's a contract dispute. See, there's the problem. Matt Judon wants a contract. He's in his last year. He's been ultra productive. He's been dominant in camp. And then 2 days ago, he was not practicing at camp. He was asked, you could see it when he was on the side that he got into it. Jimbo, you might want to mute that before you start blowing your boogies.
Oh, dang. I thought I was muted. My bad.
So we saw a video from camp where Matthew Judon was in street clothes talking to new head coach Rashod Mayo, former player.
Yep.
And it was pretty clear that they were having words, and it was probably because Matt Judon was sitting out of camp when he's not unhealthy. He's just wants a new contract, doesn't want to continue to participate. Seemingly gotten into it. He has yet to return to practice still to this point. We did hear from Matt Judon asked about that, and he's like, look, I wrote up the contract. I haven't heard from him. We got the most cap space. This is what he said, Jimbo. We have more cap space than any team in the league right now. Why can't I have a deal? I have it all written up. Everything's here. I haven't heard from my team. I need to know what's going on. Here's the clip right now. DK looks like he's putting it up of them having words at camp. So here's why I like it. I'm hoping that they want to move this guy. I want
good.
Matthew Judon.
So you're thinking the same thing I am.
Yeah, disgruntled. Look at him. So there's in the hoodie.
Judon's in the red.
Yeah, and the hoodie is the new head coach, Jared Mayo. You can see him. He's probably going, I need you out here. And Judon's like, bruh, I'm going to need that contract. And then he walks off. So obviously there's some issues there. They don't want to give him the contract, despite the fact that he's been ultra productive.
Crazy. Why? I don't understand what the hesitation is.
I mean, they're pretty clearly in a rebuild.
I guess that's true, but like, you need somebody for the fans to root for.
Yeah, how are you filling your stands?
Then just get rid of him.
Right. Get rid of him. Get what you can for him. I'm sure the Ravens would be willing to at least give up a late round draft pick.
Yeah, and so like this is the thing. If Judon is showing willingness to be a part of the ride, in that like he wants to hang around, wants to see the rebuild, believes in the organization, stuff like that, then pay him because he can be one of your leaders. But if not, then let him walk. This is just stupidity.
Right. It makes 0 sense. Now this is a first year head coach, and maybe he is making some mistakes along the way, and this could be one of them. But the Ravens have a need. And the reason I say have a need is we did get some more bad news this morning about that position group, the edge group. And I was so bummed out, Jimbo, because we just heard Coach talking about him 2 days ago, and we've talked about him a lot recently. Malik Ham goes back on IR, has a knee injury that will cost him his entire season. Right after Coach was hyping him up, talking about what we've been seeing from him. I mean, extremely, extremely disappointing. So we have a need. We have a disgruntled player. And yeah, they brought in Quincy Roche. I think it's Roche, who I think was with us last season to some degree. I'm not sure exactly in what capacity, but we have a need.
Yeah, the fact that we don't know his last name properly. is a sign that we need to get a guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so why not go kick the tires on this guy? I don't see that unless.
Well, this is the thing.
Wants
Do the
too much
Ravens?
money.
What? Yeah, I was gonna say, what kind of deal does he want?
That's a good point, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just purely a money thing, but man, it just seems like too much makes sense about him coming home.
No, I'm with you. I'd love to have Judon back here because then, Glenn, we have one player in that room that's not a question mark.
Right.
All of the guys are question. This is no knock on Kyle Van Noy, but he's a question mark because of at the point he's at in his career.
Yeah.
Right. Like last year was his career high in sacks.
Yeah.
And we can't expect that again.
No.
At this point in his career, that's unfair to ask of him, right?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know what kind of deal Judon wants, but we need each other. I feel like.
Exactly.
You know, and you talked about this being a mistake by the coach. If I'm not mistaken, though, he doesn't have the GM responsibility anymore.
No.
Right? I mean, this is a first year front office that's because also new front. I'm not mistaken, right? It's new front office, obviously new coach. Yeah, I'm not missing something here. They're making a mistake, just like gosh dang it. Do you remember the DeAndre Hopkins issue was that in Houston? Wasn't that a first year GM as well?
Oh yeah, yeah. Trade him away for David Johnson, the running back, and a bag of footballs.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just I feel like these new GMs have issues. I get it. I mean, not everybody can be Eric DeCosta, let's be honest, where you're basically the GM for 16 years. Bill O'Brien. Yeah, right. That was, so anyway, there's a lot. There's a lot of good old Bill. We'll see what happens there. I mean, he deserves the money, don't you think?
Well, the question is, would he be willing to accept a trade that doesn't come with an immediate extension?
Sure. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So, but
so he might if he's at least got a chance to play for a championship.
That's a good point. He might not be willing to do that in New England where he has no chance of playing for a ring, but he might be willing to say, all right, let me go ball out with this great defense surrounded by great players, have a career year, and then go hit, either stay here or go elsewhere and hit a big amount of money. But I do see some people saying it's Brandon Stevens is next in line for a contract extension here, not Matthew Judon, which I know that's your guy, so I know you're not gonna say no to that. But some are saying it's not his. He's not. There's more guys in line, and to some degree, I certainly agree there. And also pointing out, B. Fowler points out the untimely penalties. I do remember those from Matthew.
Oh yeah.
It would have like one a game that would just have you scratching your freaking head.
But look, I mean, this is still my issue. You can say whatever you want that could be potentially negative about Matthew Judon, but at the end of the day, you tell me who you're going to put 10 toes down on.
Mm-hmm.
I know Glenn's putting his 10 toes down on Odafe Owe, but are you guys doing it? You know what I mean? So it's like, take the good with the bad with Matthew Judon, and you take it, you put it through the wash. It's still better than what we got.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I wanted to bring that up because that's immediately what I thought when I saw this too. And I don't know what those conversations are like and being, the ones that are being had in New England and what kind of money he's wanting. But yeah, I would love to see him back in Baltimore, man. Love it.
Yes, absolutely. And I think somebody said it last time we talked about this. Just him and Jamison Hensley might have to somehow make up because I know they had a.
Oh, that will never happen. But that's kind of fun.
That's true.
Did you hear Lamar call him Dr. Jameson?
Yeah. Asking about his health and stuff. Let's see. Don C says, on a serious note, let's all send our best to Lisa Frankel. She mentioned in a stream last night she was meeting with an oncologist. Much love, Lisa Ann. Absolutely. Oh, there's Lisa Ann right there. Said it's nice. Okay. Well, so a bit of a mixed bag there for Lisa Ann. Appreciate you sharing and joining us as always. And thank you, Don C, for your generosity and kind of highlighting this. But did look like you got a bit of a mixed bag as far as bad news in that it looks like they did find something, but they found it early. So that's the good news and that it's curable. So
Let's go.
Yes,
Get it.
absolutely. That's good news there. And yeah, appreciate you mentioning that and sharing that with us. Thank you. Yeah, shout
100%.
out. Good news there. Good news. It's curable. Get it early and get it fixed, no doubt.
Yep.
And appreciate you spending time with us as always, Lisanne. Appreciate that. But Jimbo, I wanted to get into another big news, and I know people have been underselling this a little bit and trying to kind of say, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here. But Daniel Faalele spending a ton of time at right guard, and receiving praise like crazy from his teammates, from his coaching staff, from his offensive line coach Joe D. And it's also being shown and being noticed by the members of the media certainly as well. As Kyle Barber, who again we use a lot to provide a lot of these practice notes, wrote a piece on Daniel Faalele over at Baltimore Beatdown, where he talked about his experience in transitioning from tackle to right guard and competing for that spot. And look, I'm done with hearing people saying that it's early and that it's camp and that they try guys here, they try guys there. No, I'm done with that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't realize this, we are 10 days away from the Ravens playing their first preseason game. August 9th, we play the Philadelphia Eagles in the first preseason game of this season. This is not the time for playing around, experimenting. No. And they asked Todd Monken about, hey, when do you want to have guys set, certainly on the offensive line? He said, look, I'd like to have all 11 set right now, but there's no date. There's no deadline. So he's not willing to put a date on it. But I got to imagine that the guy playing right guard 10 days before you're suiting up for a football game is probably in a real competition and not just some goofy, we're trying to see what we got. No, Jimbo, he's competing for right guard. And right now, he's the leader.
Yeah, I would say at this point, it's his job to lose.
Yes.
I think that's exactly where he's at. He's positioned himself to be the lead dog. He's got to hold on, continue to improve. He's got to put in good reps. He's got to look good in preseason. All those things are still in preseason games, all those things are still true. He has to do all those things. But in addition to that, the guys behind him have to outperform him. Right? It's his job to lose. I think he's earned that at this point. Like you said, Glenn, we're this late. It's crazy. It feels like camp just started, but we're this late in it, in that, like, once preseason games start, right? Like, this ship is sailed. You know what I mean? I know things can change at the drop of a hat, but yeah, seems like certainly the bread is starting to rise.
The cream is rising to the top.
That's right. Like whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like
Randy Savage. You guys haven't seen that famous interview, Macho Man Randy Savage. He literally out of his pocket pulled creamer packets. The cream, right there.
Gosh.
Legendary. And that's just reminded me of that. So thank you, Jimbo. Appreciate that.
Yeah, just right out of the old dome piece, dude. You like that?
Right there. But also, Jimbo, not to be outdone, Michael Pierce was one of our speakers either today or yesterday. And first of all, man, he's a fun guy to listen to. Like, he just seems like a guy I'd want to hang out with, Michael Pierce. Like, just a down-to-earth, nice, funny, just a good guy. But
intelligent. You can tell he's a smart dude.
I mean, he's got it all. And one hell of a football player on top of it. And people, again, they were pointing out, just where he started, coming to Samford, undrafted guy, and looking at him like Zach Orr was talking about. He's like, I lined up next to that guy, and look at him. He's still doing it. Like, it's just crazy. But he was asked about the changes at yes, Tank, the cream rises to the top. He was asked about those three new starters and kind of changing over on the offensive line. And man, he's been impressed with Andrew Voorhees. The guy is strong. The guy is good. He says he's going to be a player in this league. And the same can be said for when Ronnie Stanley was asked about playing next to Andrew Voorhees. I mean, raving results about these guys. These guys think that Voorhees is going to be one hell of a player. And to some degree, they talked about Roger in some of the same light, but not the glowing responses that we heard when asked about Andrew Voorhees, Jimbo.
Yeah, let's go, dude. I mean, look, I think it's fair to say that we had high hopes for Andrew Voorhees, but there was also just, based on the thing, like the situation that we're in, just a lot of unknown. And there still is, but early signals all lead to what people have expected and why the Ravens took him late. But this is just another proof of Eric DeCosta and his team doing their homework, finding their guys at the right value, guys that they covet at the right position in the draft, and simply getting them sticking with what they know to be tried and true and getting it done. But yeah, man, because look, at the end of the day, 3 positions is 3 positions. So the less that you have to be concerned in that, like 3 out of 5 on the offensive line are getting switched, so the less you have to be concerned about, the better. I think it's also fair to say, though, Glenn, we should probably expect that there's going to be some up and downs from Voorhees. This is essentially his rookie year. So I wouldn't say we throw the baby out with the bathwater if he has a bad game. But if he's going to be a starter, he has to hold those expectations as well. So it's a balancing act with him. The thing that I'm excited about, Glenn, with this offensive line is a few things. The athleticism overall. If you look at, I think I've said this before, but if you go left to right, you go Ronnie, crazy athlete. Voorhees, strong and athletic. Linderbaum, athleticism off the chart. Faalele, for his size, ridiculous athlete. And if Rosengarten ends up being the right tackle, I think it's fair to say athletically, this offensive line could be the most athletic offensive line in the league. I think it's fair to say. Now, I'm sure there's some other good ones up there that you can put it up against, but dang, these guys are good 1 through 5 from an athletic standpoint. The size, but this is what's got me most excited, Glenn, is that I think that who we see in week 1 is not who we're going to see in December when it's cold, when we're running the ball down teams' throats, because they're going to have so many more reps under their belt as a unit, assuming health, especially those 3 guys that are in those new positions. They're only going to get better. Where a lot of the teams, you probably will say the opposite because they're getting more beat up. They might have some older guys, but the exponential improvement of those 3 guys that we mentioned, look out. If they can stay healthy and put it together, I really think that this team, from an offensive line perspective, can really start to dominate. Not they won't in week 1, 2, 3. I think they have the opportunity to dominate any week, but it will only, the possibility of that will only improve every single week. That's got me excited.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point you got there, because you want your guys playing their best at the end of the year. And I think it's safe to say, if there's obviously no injuries, their worst game in theory should be the first game. And their best game should be every game after, every next game should be their new best game, because they're so new, they're so young. And so I think that's actually a really, really good point there. Not to the one guy I'd say that you worry that wouldn't be the case is Stanley, because right now he talks about how he feels the healthiest he's been. He says he's playing and moving better right now than at any point last season. But Stanley's the only guy I could say you could make an argument with. That's the only guy who I say he might be better week 1 than he would be in week 17. But every other guy should be going this way still. So yeah, that's a really good point there. I am going to get into at the end, I just could give quick thoughts on the Orioles trade deadline moves. But before we do that, I did want to touch on another thing we heard from the pressers today, because it got me excited, Jimbo. First of all, Zach Orr looks older. He looks more mature. He's really sinking into this coaching role, and specifically the DC role. But man, this got me hyped, Jimbo. The smile, what he said, just everything. Tell me, after we hear this, you got to give me your thoughts.
Intense guy, which we love. We love it. I mean, I think Isaiah Likely told me the other day, he was like, man, tell Trent to smile out there on the field. I was like, hey, man, that's how he roll. That's how he roll. But Trent said that's why we loved him when he came out of Clemson. I mean, he's a real physical player, and it's great to see that. We knew that last year. He came in as a rookie being real physical, and he's continued that and upped that. He's gotten bigger, stronger, more explosive, which he's displaying, which we're happy with. Man, Trent's an intense guy.
It's got me excited, dude. I know, like you said. Yeah, I agree. That's exciting stuff. As DK exposes my entire background there. But
I think that was my fault.
Oh, that was Glenn. Nice. I'll have to show you guys all the stuff I have on my wall another time.
That's right.
But no, yeah, that's awesome. I tell you what, between Zach and John giving the shot that they have a younger, bigger, faster Patrick Queen. Is that what John said?
No, I don't think John.
He said we have a younger Patrick Queen.
I can't.
John said one of those two quotes.
Yeah, I definitely said bigger, faster, stronger, but I don't know if it was John or if it was
That was
Zach
John.
Orr. Okay.
No, it was John for sure. But between John and Zach, Glenn, I thought you were kind of out, over your skis there when you were talking about Trent Simpson, but you're proving me wrong here in that this could be a real breakout player for us defensively, man.
Yeah, and I love the fact that that's the first thing that jumped to mind is how physical this guy is, because that was the critique of Pat Queen, is that he lacked physicality for maybe the most physical position in football, and he just didn't always seem to embrace it, like you'd always say. He just didn't embrace the physicality. This guy seems like he's just on a whole nother level. Like he is, like he doesn't smile and it's funny because it's always those guys on the field that are the nicest guys off the field. Super nice, but man, when he's on the field, they said, "Can this guy smile ever?" Like this guy is all business, ready to go. Man, don't sleep on what this guy is going to bring to this defense. Don't be surprised. Don't be shocked if he's got a higher ceiling or could be better than what we've seen from Patrick Queen.
Crazy to think about.
Don't be shy. He's stronger. He's faster. He's more physical. If he's got it up here between the ears, then why not?
And here I am thinking Glenn's just being a hater
on Pat Queen. Well, I felt like a hater every time I said it, but it just is what it is. It's just true. The guy is an ultimate physical specimen, and if he just has it between the ears, which we won't know, I'll say it now, we won't know really until the bullets are flying. But if he does, holy smokes, this guy is going to be an absolute terror for opposing offenses. When you consider that you got to worry about Roquan first and foremost.
Yep.
So yeah, that guy's going to be special. But also, Todd Monken was asked about, a number of things today, but particularly he mentioned wanting to get Rashod Bateman more involved and. Certainly getting the ball more involved down the field, big chunk plays is what, they're hoping for. But that's coming on the heels of him being hurt and him kind of being banged up, which kind of tempers that excitement a little bit. But yeah, I did want to talk about Todd Monken was excited about the opportunity to have Derrick Henry and what it kind of brings to this offense and what it kind of allows for this offense. But I'm kind of curious. Do you think Derrick Henry's role is going to be expanded as a pass catcher? Because I saw a clip 2 days ago,
right?
A lot of deep passes. And I don't think they would just be going, hey, run a wheel route just for giggles. Like, I got a feeling that we're going to throw this guy the ball way more often than he's ever been thrown the ball in the past. And Todd talked a little bit about getting him in the passing game. Do you think we could see him catch, like, what? I'm trying to think of what a good number of how many footballs he could catch in a year when you consider the guys behind him.
The most in his career in a season.
What is it?
The most in his career in a season.
You see him breaking that this year?
Yeah, whatever that number is, I think that's fair.
Okay, all right.
This is the only thing I will say, Glenn.
Yeah.
If it goes bad once, John's going to shut it down. John's going to be like, Monk, I know you're having fun with this.
But the main reason I ask is because you don't want to get in a situation where when Derrick Henry's on the field, defenses knows you're running it or he's not getting the ball. And you definitely don't want to get in the field. Okay, Justice Hill's on the field, they're throwing it. Like, you don't want to become predictable. So you got to throw him the ball a few times. Like, you got to keep the defenses honest. But let me see here. I did want to look up his career high in receptions.
Yeah, whatever it is, double it.
Oh, you think it's like that? I mean, I'm sure he had a year where he's had some big years. Here we go. Receiving wise. Oh, why is it freezing up? Okay, receptions. The most he's ever had is 40. No, I'm sorry. That's targets. 33 is his most catches ever, and that was
maybe
in 2022. Yeah, I don't think he's going to have 60 grabs.
But I think he surpasses it.
It was 33 and 28 are his last two, but before that, Jimbo, his career high was 19 catches. Yeah. So double that, 40.
There you go, 40. Whoo, man, could you imagine a world in which Derrick Henry gets 40 catches?
Dude, I wouldn't want to tackle. The thing I'd like, if you can get him the ball on the outside, is he's probably going to be trying, like, DBs are going to be the ones tackling him out there. So I love it, dude. Get him the ball out there. But the question is, Jimbo, like you said, can he catch it?
Right. Yeah, because one bobble, one interception, you know what I mean? And if things go wrong, John's going to cut the cord on that thing.
Yeah.
The experiment is over. Sorry, Monk.
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's just hope he catches them early.
Let's just do what we signed him to do. Hand him the football. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here, guys?
Okay. I hear you. I just want to get him the ball any way possible.
I know. I agree. I'm just saying I could totally see John being like, Monk, experiment. A pigskin to Henry via air is over.
Oh, yeah. How many passing touchdowns does this guy have in his career? Here we go. He's 7 of 9 for his career with 4 touchdown passes.
There you go.
Let's get this guy. Hey, let's use all of what he's got. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Let's do it. I'm down.
Let's do it. I know he had a couple jump passes, if I remember correctly, where he would jump and throw it over the line of scrimmage there. But yeah, let's take advantage of all the skills in his bag, as they say. But okay, quick. Do you have any other? Let me see. Is there any other news and notes that you wanted to make sure we touched on, Jimbo?
No.
Nothing else? Okay. Well, I did want to quickly give my thoughts. The trade deadline for baseball came and went today, with the Orioles being, one of the very active teams in the league as they continue to compete for a World Series. And a lot of people were hoping that they'd go for, a big name guy, whether it was the starter from the Tigers. I'm blanking on his name right now, or Tanner Scott, the former Oriole reliever from the Marlins, a bunch of different guys. But the market was extremely high for every position. It looked like you had to get rid of. I mean, it would have likely cost us. Certainly, Holiday would have been in the conversation. Jackson Holiday would have had to have been in conversations with a lot of these. Bradfield would have been in the conversation with a lot of these guys. But the point is, cost was very high to get one of those top end guys. So ultimately, what the Orioles ended up doing is making 3 trades, replacing their 3rd, 4th, and 5th starters over the last 2 days with upgrades. Now, as Eflin would slide into the 3rd spot. I don't have everything right in front of me as I prepared for a Ravens only show, but they did make upgrades to their 3, 4, and 5 positions in the rotation. However, as you guys all know, if you're a baseball fan, rotations shrink when you get to the playoffs. Just like in the NBA, your rotations shrink. You play 6, 7 guys. You're not playing 9 guys in the NBA playoffs. Well, you're not pitching all 5 starters in the playoffs too. So in reality, did they really help this team going forward when your 4 and 5 starters probably aren't going to be pitched? Maybe your 3 guy is Eflin. I'm sure he's going to start. So you may have replaced 1 starter in the playoffs, and you still didn't address the back end of the bullpen, which was very surprising. And Sir Anthony Dominguez, maybe a 7-8 guy, but you didn't address the 9th inning. And the 9th inning is the scariest inning, with Craig Kimbrell trying to get things done in his maybe last season or one of his last seasons in his Hall of Fame career. He's had issues. We don't have Bautista. The Mountain is not going to be back. Mm-hmm. So that's what scares me. We didn't get a reliever. Now, look, it cost, who was it, the Padres, their 2nd and 3rd best prospect to get Tanner Scott, a guy we traded away a couple of years ago. So I get them not giving up Jackson Holiday to literally trade for a guy we traded away. I get that. But I still understand the frustration from Orioles fans going, man, it feels like we're close, and you didn't get a back end of the rotation or the bullpen guy, which is what we seemingly need the most. So for that reason, I'm a little disappointed. And then they traded for a guy from the White Sox, an outfielder today, who was worse than Austin Hayes, who we just traded away. But Austin Hayes may have been an issue in the locker room. I'm starting to hear he was frustrated with playing time. And Skubal, that's it. As Izana Kibrit, Skubal was the name of the pitcher from the Tigers, who everyone wanted. But it would have cost us Holiday. So I have mixed feelings about this trade deadline. I wanted us to be more active, but I get that the cost was high. Hope for the best, O's. Come on, O's.
That's right. Sometimes you got to ride with the guys you got.
That's it. And they didn't give up any key big-time prospects. So while they didn't land the big guy, they didn't give up any big names either.
There you go. Well, let's hope for a deep postseason run for these Orioles coming up. But we're going to be out at camp on the 6th. That'll be exciting.
Tuesday.
Outside of that, of course, we'll do another show later in the week, so make sure you guys stay tuned. But that is all for us tonight. appreciate you guys coming out, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you.